children. Hope you all are doing very well. Hope you all are drinking enough of water, eating a balanced diet because you have to improve your immune system. I know you all are missing school a lot. So am I. So this is Teacher Siddha back once again, welcoming you to another chapter in geography, that is the northern mountains of India. So children, today we see the northern mountains of India. So the key concepts are location of Himalayas, the states which lie in the Himalayan region, ranges of Himalayas, and importance of Himalayas to India. So we are going to discuss all these key concepts. Now, first and foremost, the meaning of Himalayas. Now I have broken it up into two, Hima and Layas. Now Hima means snow and Layas means abode of snow. So the meaning of Himalayas is abode of snow. Now Himalaya is the biggest or the largest mountain range in the world. It is covered with snow throughout the year and they have snow-capped mountains. These are snow-capped mountains with the highest peaks in this region. Now most of the peaks are found in Himalayas. Now most of the people climb the Himalayas. Like most of the mountaineers, they like to climb the Himalayas, and the highest peak, which is Mount Everest, is a part of the Himalayas, but it is in the country Nepal. Now, the mountainous countries which lie in the Himalayas, Nepal and Bhutan are two countries which lie in the Himalayas, and both these countries are very adventurous countries, and the highest peak, Mount Everest, lies in Nepal. Now the Himalayas is full of glaciers. Now glacier is nothing but a big sheet of moving ice. Now we say that the glaciers are melting every now and then in the Himalayas, and that water from the glaciers comes down in the form of rivers. So the sources of the rivers, the main rivers like the Ganga, the Yamuna, the Indus and the Brahmaputra, the sources of these rivers lie in the or originate in the Himalayas. Like the source of river Ganga is Gangotri, Yamuna is Yamunotri, then the river Indus and the river Brahmaputra. So these are snow-fed rivers. Next, the Himalayan range. Now can you see the picture of the Himalayan range? Children, I told you that this is the highest range in the world, and it is a chain. Range means a chain of mountains. So this is the highest range in the world. Next, we come to the states which lie in the northern mountains. Now if you look at the map here, I will point out the states which lie in the mountains. You can see the Union Territory Jammu and Kashmir, children. Now here Jammu and Kashmir is divided into two, Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. Next you see, next state is Himachal Pradesh. Then you see Uttarakhand. Next we come to the northeastern states. You can see the purple color there. So all the seven sisters, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, including West Bengal. So you can see all the northeastern states. I have made a list of these states and you can see them now. Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Assam, Nagaland, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. Now if you have your atlas or if you have your textbook with you, you can go to the physical or political map of India and you can locate these states. You can just underline them with a pencil so you can remember them properly. So these are the states which lie in the Himalayan mountains or the northern mountains. Now, here is a map. Children, you can open your atlas to the physical map of India. Now, I am going to locate some mountain ranges in this map. First, you see the Himalayas. See the Himalayas spreading right from here, from Jammu and Kashmir, and it goes on, you can see that brown color, till Arunachal Pradesh. Next, you can see another peak which is called Kanchenjunga, which I am going to speak on later. Then you can see another peak, that is Nanda Devi. You can see the rivers originating in the Himalayas. Ganges, the old name for Ganga, Yamuna. Then you can see the river Indus here, and you can see the river Brahmaputra, that is in Assam. So this map gives you a clear-cut picture of the mountain ranges and the rivers which originate in the Himalayas. Now, next we go to the Karakoram Mountains. Now, Karakoram Mountains lie to the northwest of Himalayas. So, if you have your atlas, you can see and locate Karakoram Mountains. You can underline them. They lie to the northwest of Himalaya. The river Indus, which I showed you just now, originates there. And Mount K2, which is also known as Mount Godwin Austen, is the second largest peak in the world, but the highest peak in India. You can even locate this Mount K2 in your physical map of India. Next we come to the Siachen Glacier, and the Gangotri Glacier also lies here. Now, most of these Karakoram Mountains, children, they fall in the Ladakh Union Territory. Now, in the Siachen Glacier, our Indian Army defends us from the northern invasions, like countries like China, Tibet, and then we have the Gangotri Glacier, where the river Ganga originates. That is the source of river Ganga. Next, you can see the pictures, the Karakoram Mountains, children, the river Indus, and you can see the second highest mountain peak in the world, that is Mount K2 in the next picture. And that is the highest peak in India. In the world, it is the second highest. Now, you can see the Siachen Glacier here, and the other picture is Gangotri Glacier. See, children, glacier is nothing but it is moving ice, a big sheet of ice which keeps on moving, and most of the rivers originate in these glaciers. Next we come to the ranges of Himalayas. The Himalayas is divided into three ranges. Himadri, which is called Greater Himalayas, Himachal, which is called Lesser Himalayas, and Shivalik. So first we will go to Himadri. Now you can see the picture here, Himadri, Himachal and Shivalik. So first I will discuss Himadri. Now, Himadri has got the highest mountain ranges, and most of the highest mountain peaks are also found in Himadri, like Kanchenjunga and Annapurna. Now in the map earlier, if you have your atlas with you, you can still locate Kanchenjunga in the physical map of India along with Annapurna. So they lie in the Himadri, that is right on top, children, where the conditions are very harsh and there is no form of life. So no life can exist in this region where it is covered with glaciers and ice. Now most of the rivers I told you have their sources there: Gangotri, Yamunotri, Brahmaputra, and Indus. So most of these rivers originate in the Himadri. They have their sources here. Now, these are mountainous regions where it is a chain of mountains. Now, next we come to what is a pass. Now, pass means a route through a mountain range. That is a small way where the mountaineers who like to climb can reach from one mountain to another mountain through the passes. So, mountaineers use these passes to cross a mountain. You can see the picture of Himadri, the Kanchenjunga, the highest peak, Annapurna, another peak in the Himadri. See how beautiful the peaks look, children. It is fully covered with ice. Now, next we come to Himachal. Now that is the second range which is just below Himadri. Now, Himadri is a lower in height as compared to Himachal is lower in height compared to Himadri. It is full of snow and a lot of forests and mountains and valleys are found here. Now, all of you know what is a forest, you know what is a mountain, and I explained to you what is a valley. A valley is a part between two mountains or two hills. So the middle part, which is between two mountains and hills, is called a valley. So most of the valleys are in this region, that is in the Himachal region. Now the vegetation in the Himachal region are the coniferous trees like the pine tree, the deodar tree, the chinar tree are found in this region. Now valley, the examples of valley are Kulu Manali and Kangra Valley. These two valleys are very famous in the Himachal region. You can see the picture. Now, I will show you the picture later. Next we come to the hill stations. Now, the Himachal is very, very pleasant, and because of its scenic beauty, a lot of hill stations are there in the Himachal. So the main hill stations are Mussoorie, which is in Uttarakhand. See children, if you open your atlas, you can locate this in your atlas. You can use the political as well as the physical map of India to locate these hill stations. Mussoorie is in Uttarakhand. Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. Shimla is in Himachal Pradesh. Kulu Manali again in Himachal Pradesh. Darjeeling is in West Bengal. Dalhousie, Himachal Pradesh, and Dharamshala also is in Himachal Pradesh. So Himachal Pradesh has a lot of the hill stations. Now you see the valley as well as the hill station Kulu Manali and another hill station Dharamshala. So these hill stations are in the Himachal. Next, the third range we come is the Shivalik. Now Shivalik, Shiva. Have you heard about Lord Shiva? Yes. So this name Shivalik comes from the tresses or the hair of Lord Shiva. So it is called Shivalik, derived from thick hair of Lord Shiva. Now here this is the lowest range of the northern mountains, and it is a forested area, thick forest full of wildlife like the leopards, the tigers, the sambar, the bears, and the foothills of the Himalayas is called the Terai region. You can see the pictures of the animals here, the sambar, and you can see the Terai region. Now children, in this Terai region, you can see it is a slopey region where people in this region, they practice terrace farming. Next, we go to occupations. Now the main occupations are agriculture, terrace farming. Now farming which is done on the mountain slopes is called terrace farming, cattle rearing. Vegetation is teak, sal and babool. I will show you the pictures of these, and they have beautiful valleys like the Kangra Valley, the Kulu Manali Valley. Now you can see the pictures of teak wood, the sal tree and the babool tree. Now these are the trees which are grown, the main trees which are grown in the Shivaliks. Next, Shivalik is very important for its, or famous for its national parks. The Jim Corbett Park, which is in Uttarakhand, here you can see, is very famous for the Bengal tigers. Now the Bengal tigers are becoming very extinct, children, and our government needs to protect them. And the next national park is the Kaziranga Park in Assam, which is very famous for rhinos or the rhinoceros. Can you see the rhinoceros there? So this species also is becoming very extinct and it has to be protected. Next we come to the Trans-Himalayas. Now the Trans-Himalayas is towards the north of the Great Himalayas, that is north of Himadri. Trans-Himalayas falls mostly in the Ladakh region. So it consists of the Karakoram mountains, Ladakh, Zaskar and the Kailash ranges. Now Kailash range is very famous, children. That is the abode of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva used to do penance on the Kailash range. Next, most of these ranges lie also in Tibet. So most of Ladakh ranges lie in Tibet. River Indus originates here, and the Nanga Parbat lies in the Zaskar range of Ladakh. I have already shown you Nanga Parbat. If you still want to see it once again, you can open your atlas and just look into the physical map of India. Okay children, now the picture of Nanga Parbat in the Trans-Himalayas, you can have a look at it. So this is the Nanga Parbat in the Trans-Himalayas. You can open your atlas and you can locate Nanga Parbat. Next we go to Purvanchal. Now Purvanchal is the northeastern Himalayan range. It starts from Arunachal Pradesh, and all the seven sisters like Sikkim, Meghalaya, Mizoram, all these seven sisters form the Purvanchal mountains or the Purvanchal range. Now in the Purvanchal range you can see the Garo hills, the Kasi hills, Jantia hills and the Naga hills. So and down you can even see the Mizo hills. Now if you have your map and it is open, you can locate all these hills in the Purvanchal, that is in the northeastern states of the Himalayan range. Next we come to the northeastern states. Now northeastern states are the series of hills in the northeast India, like I just explained to you: Naga, Garo, Kasi, Jantia, Mizo and Lushai. Now these are thick forests with very heavy rainfall. Like the highest rainfall region all over the world is in these hills, that is Mawsynram in Meghalaya. You can have a look at the Kasi hills and the Mizo hills in the northeastern hill range, that is Purvanchal. Next we come to the last part, the importance of Himalayas. Now how the Himalayas are important to our country India. What is their effect on India? It protects us from military invasion. That is it protects us from our enemies. Like Himalaya is a natural boundary between China and India. So it protects us from our enemies. Second, it protects from cold winds which blow from the Arctic Circle. There are the cold winds which come from the Arctic Circle, which come and hit the Himalayas and go back. And so that cold winds don't enter India. Prevent the monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean from crossing the northern countries. So that is why we get heavy rainfall in northern India, which is required. Now, it is a natural source of water and fertile soil. So as the rivers originate in the Himalayas, it is a natural source of water, and these rivers are snow-fed rivers, children. So they never go dry. So the land is always fertile in the northern plains. Next is irrigation. Irrigation means water supply, where the people can grow a lot of crops in the plain region, that is in the northern plains. Hydroelectricity, that is hydro and electricity. Electricity which we get from water. So the main rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, so these rivers are generating a lot of hydroelectricity, so which helps us in different ways. Next, the flora and fauna. Flora and fauna is the vegetation, the trees and the animals. So they also help us. We have the varieties of trees and different species of animals. And last is the forest products which we get from the Himalayas. So I conclude my lesson here. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you very soon. This is Teacher Siddha signing off. Bye.